This is a demonstration of magnetic fields. This is a room designed to have low magnetic fields in it. Right now the reading is 1 nanotesla, and these green lights indicate there are no frequencies at all, so not only is the level low, but there's no variation. Okay, I'm going to plug in a small pump that was just sold with that I bought with an aquarium, and we'll see that the level will change dramatically. You can not only physically hear a noise, but now we've gone up to 9,400, and you can see that we're getting frequencies mostly in the 50-60 hertz, but also harmonics at 150 and 180 hertz. And I feel people who are electrically sensitive feel this is kind of a I feel this is kind of a thickness in my head. Sometimes in high magnetic fields I'll also feel a little bit nauseous. So again, magnetic field, just like the Earth or a magnet, attracts charged particles, and our body obviously is filled with ions, so some of this is having a biological effect. This is an example of an electric field. Again, we've started with a very low level. We've moved the meter to electric fields. We've got a reading of 0, and all the lights are green, so there are no frequencies. So again, I'm going to plug in an extreme example of an electric field, which is this little Tesla plasma ball. Now we have an extreme jump, not only in the electric fields, but in the frequencies being measured. You can see that the current, the plasma, the charge, wants to flow to somewhere, and it's flowing out into the air, but it'll also flow wherever it can go, and it looks like my body really wants to absorb that. So for someone who's electrically sensitive like me, I would feel this as kind of I would feel kind of charged or wired. I feel kind of amped up in this environment when there's a large electric field. And this can be from wiring problems, but most commonly it's from lamps, especially in a sleeping environment right next to your bed. Even when the lamp cord is, even when the lamp is not on, just the lamp cord itself is generating a field like this around your bed and so forth, and that can give you kind of a charged up feeling and potentially affect your health. This is another example of electric fields. Notice that we're starting again with 0 here and 0 here. This meter is going to measure the fields in the environment, and this one we're going to use to measure the fields moving across my body, across my skin. So this is measuring the amount of current flowing through my body right now, very, very low, 0.05. So my body is acting as an antenna in this environment, but very small amount of current. So you may be, when you see this thing going on, you may say, in the past, in the demonstration, you saw me touching this, you may say, well, if I don't touch it, everything's fine. And so I'm going to kind of demonstrate that that actually is not the case. So you saw a small amount of current here, and now we're going to plug the plasma ball in. Again, this is very similar to plugging in a light. You'll notice you'll get a slight jump without the ball even being on now. So again, this is like having a light that's not even turned on. You're up to 10 over here, and now the reading here is grown. So now we're going to turn this on. And of course a dramatic jump, and a dramatic jump on both ends. So I can feel this kind of going through my body. The high frequency current will kind of go more on the outside of your body, kind of on the skin. I feel this in the front of my head right now. It's kind of a buzzing or a numbness. So I'd like to talk about dirty electricity, and this is the baseline. This is fairly clean electrical. So you can see that there's a nice waveform. This is plugged into a standard outlet in the US. So this is 60 hertz. You can see this number up here is varying around 60. This is a microsurge counter from Stetzerizer. It's counting about 27 little microsurges. You might see little spikes in there. This is a regular FM radio that could be turned on, and so you get to hear kind of what that noise sounds like. So now I'm going to plug in a standard household device that I found to produce quite a bit of electrical noise. And then we'll see a little variation. Okay. Okay, now the meter, the Stetzerizer meter, has gone off the charts. It can measure up to 2,000. It's pegged out. The frequency here is varying all over the place, and it's in the megahertz zone. You can see this is very chaotic. And now as you can tell, the sound is also very chaotic. This feels, to me, someone who's fairly electrosensitive, this feels just kind of jittery to me in this environment. And so this is something, this form of electrical noise has been rising at a similar rate as we're doing more and more electronic things, and as we're doing more and more cell towers and high frequency like microwave devices that when they start high frequency, they put little microsurges on the power that's running them. So when you're using high frequency devices like Wi-Fi, you not only are you broadcasting frequencies through the air like unseen light, but the nice clean 60 hertz electrical line is being disrupted by some of the devices. And this could lead to health issues. So some people are saying that anything over 1300, and this is clearly that, could lead to a cancer cluster and overload the body's immune system. This is another example of dirty electricity. This is plugged into a standard 120 volt outlet in the United States. This is kind of more typical of what you'll see nowadays. The meter reading is in the 140s or 100, which is actually kind of low. I've only found a reading of 25 once naturally. You can see there's quite a bit of noise here on the line and a lot of jitter. So what we'll do is we'll take one of these filters. We can take either a Stetzerizer filter or a green wave filter. They both seem to work equivalently. And plug them in to the outlet. So now one is plugged in, you'll start to see a little bit less chaotic behavior. We're turning down to a number that below 25 is the number that Stetzerizer recommends for people who are sensitive to electrical noise. And again, for someone like me who's sensitive, I will feel this is kind of a jitter, it's kind of a numbness in the front of my head. Some people have responded that they feel prickles, they feel pricklier on their skin, almost like they're being sandblasted. And as the magnetic fields or electric fields are higher, the force of this kind of noisy current can kind of push at your body a little more dramatically. So again, this is a dirty electrical. Is something that's actually not commonly measured at all and seems to be rising dramatically. When you saw some of the dirty electrical demonstrations, you may say, well, that doesn't really affect me. I'm not going to feel that. I can actually hear like a fan change its noise when the electrical is clean versus dirty. So I'll hear kind of a jitter or harshness. So I want to try to demonstrate what that sounds like on an auditory level. So we're going to play two frequencies, 440 hertz, one with a nice smooth sine wave, which is what your electrical is supposed to be, and the other with a sharp triangular pattern. So here's the first one. Okay, let's change that to be a triangle pattern and see if you can hear the difference. To me that sounds a little bit harsher as you're getting to these kind of pointed waveforms, and that's not even introducing noise at all, that's just sharper turns. This is a demonstration of wireless radiation that's around us all the time. We have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and cellular networks that generate all kinds of wireless radiation. In this room it's quite low right now. We're reading 0.2, 0.3, it's moving around a little bit. We have a little filter on here that just shows us the pulsed radiation, so just kind of digital radiation, as opposed to things like AM and FM radio. So I'm going to do a demonstration of a pretty common and safe device you'd think you'd have around your house. This is a baby monitor. So I'm going to turn this on now. There's also a audio element to this, so you should be able to now hear the reading and the signal instead of just seeing it. Okay, that's enough of that. Someone who's sensitive to wireless radiation will again feel, like I do, I feel just a little bit of a buzz or jitter. You may feel that way when you hear that noise. I don't know the effect. Everyone has different effects and different responses to this. But this sort of radiation is not only generated by baby monitors, but wireless deck phones, smartphones, cell phones, even things like Bluetooth and Bluetooth headsets generate a frequency similar to this. So this is definitely an element that is rising in our environment and may be associated with other things, other diseases and effects that are rising right now.